It's a revolution, style revolution, cultural revolution.
When we come out here, we have a fight.
Evolution does not occur in one stage. It's an evolutionary process. Like people go through different things.
The real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goals that you're striving for.
That's your life. And to be here means that you can't be here that else.
We have to become involved in a program of re-education to educate our people into the importance of knowing.
It's a revolution, style revolution, cultural revolution.
Yo, what up?
Yo, what's up?
You tuned into the Peaceful Rage podcast
Featuring Matt Murphy and Dr. Wes Bellamy. Two brothers,
working in our community,
active, caring for our families.
still trying to get back,
We see what's going on with the big picture.
and we pissed off about it.
Peaceful Rage Podcast.
Peaceful Rage podcast.
All right, listen. I was in 8th grade, science class, first period. I think dude's name was Mr. Hesse. His wife used to dress him in bad sweaters. And we sat in class, dog, and I remember this little white kid named Gabe, right? He was Jehovah's Witness, and he had a religious exemption. This is in the late 80s, man. He didn't have to stand for the pledge. Now, this is right around the time I had, read Malcolm X's autobiography for the first time, and I'm like, listen to Public Game, and like, fuck y'all, right? So I didn't stand up either, man. And I went for like a whole week, and like every day he would give me shit for not standing up. I had to go to the principal's office, man, and I sat here and argued with the principal about why I shouldn't have to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You know what I'm saying? 8th grade.
Rebel
you
with
know
the
what I'm
cause.
saying? Well, no, I just said to say, man, like, to me, this is not a new thing, and I think it comes in waves and stages of where you even might be individually. You know what I'm saying? To say this is the way I choose to protest, because other people protest in different ways. They might say, "Hey, I'm okay with the flag, but I'm not okay with this shit right here, and I'm not going to do that." Right? And so again, I'm like, I am not as prone to sit up and, I won't say pass judgment, but just like look with a skeptic eye on someone who's not jumping on board the wave of somebody else started a couple years ago, and he's not even in a situation like, all respect due to Colin Kaepernick, does he still think that people should kneel? You know what I'm saying? Does he still think that, like this is the way that we need to express our protest? Because I don't feel like you need to always tell me how I need to protest, because you don't live in my shoes. You don't live in my world.
That's real. You don't live in my shoes, nor do you live in my world. However, I think it's important for us all to do something. So if you don't want to kneel, right? There's brothers in the league who don't kneel.
Right.
They just raise their fists, right? They say that's what they want to do.
Or they don't put their hand over their heart and they stand there and they think about whatever they think about before the game.
So I can respect that, but I feel as if you need to lend your voice in somehow, some shape, some form.
Let me ask you this.
How you lend it is up to you.
Is it? If this brother said, you know what, my voice is going to be lent to my immediate family and no further, is he wrong?
That's selfish.
Is it?
To me,
okay.
Because you have a responsibility.
So if
with
he goes
that
outside
platform.
that and says, okay, I'm going to reach out to my immediate community and no further, and so this shit on a national level, I really don't care about this flag thing. I'm going to reach out to these 500 kids that I work with in such and such town in Oklahoma where I was raised.
Okay.
So is he any less because he stands then?
Nah. When you break it down like that, nah.
And that's
I do think that you deserve that you, because you're on that stage and that platform, you should maybe expound on that if that's your position.
And that's that's interesting point, man, because my general philosophy is like Charles Barkley.
I'm not a role model.
I'm not a role model.
Shit. Yeah.
Because was Mike Tyson a role model? Did he expect to be and try to be? Did he want to be? Did he set out to be? Should he have been? But he was the baddest. And
That's
can't
true.
nobody question that shit. And he was the champ.
He was definitely the champ.
Okay, so I'm just saying, like, was he wrong for that though? Was he wrong for that kind of that demeanor, that swag, that direction? When he's just like, we got a president who don't give a shit. Right? This is America, dog.
Literally.
So it could be like, it's all about me and it should be okay. If we really Americans and embrace that mentality, then you know what? Trump's okay, Tyson's okay. You ain't gotta say shit, just do what you're gonna do. I'm not saying Tyson ain't woke.
Yeah,
I'm just
no, I
saying,
got
like,
you.
he wasn't set out to be no role model.
I feel like as black folk, though, you do have a responsibility.
Okay.
All right. So because of what we see, the injustices that are currently going around on a daily basis, right? The shit that we see still happening, you do have a responsibility, whether you want to or not. you have a responsibility to reach back, uplift, speak up, speak out.
So the
You can do it your way.
So the platform creates the responsibility.
I think you have a responsibility regardless if you have the platform. I don't give a fuck if you work at 7-Eleven. You have a responsibility, in my personal opinion,
So what
to
you do about all
develop
these
some
trap
form of
niggas
content.
then? They're just talking shit and they, you know, I mean, what do? We touting them, we putting it up like, oh, that's the hot shit, that's the music, that's the wave, that's the thing.
Jeezy to me is he came out with his second mixtape was Trap or Die.
Right.
And I always say he's my favorite rapper like that. But he used his platform, in my personal opinion. Even when he was talking about like flipping birds and hustling or whatever, he was still often talk about like, yo, you're in this situation, but you need to figure out how you can get out of this situation and not do no dumb shit. I will never forget, yo, when I heard Jeezy say on Trap or Die, the mixtape, when he said, yo, you think because you got a little bit of money or you done did some shit in the street that you earn a couple stripes, that make you a gangster. That ain't no gangster. A gangster is a cat who take care of his family. A gangster is a dude who take care of responsibility. A gangster is a person who has principle and morals. To me, that was the realest shit that you could hear.
And that's some real shit. And I would say that is Jeezy holding it down.
Yeah.
Right? And put him up next to 10 other cats. You don't hear that same motion. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear a lot of that same. Should we name names? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, should we name artists that get the play, that get the paper, right? But messaging, they have a hell of a platform, dog. They got a real platform. How is that being used on one of the on the 7 outlets of communication that they have via video, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the other shit?
And they're not using it how they supposed to.
Right. So are these niggas ain't woke? Are they playing us? Are we the fools for supporting that shit because it's making us bounce and we over here dancing and shit?
I think it's a combination of both, right? So even you look at someone like who we throw out, Pimp C. Right,
Word.
Often talked about lean and women or whatever. He still will use his platform to talk about, you know, conscious stuff, like he said. And
I can take that dichotomy. I can take a player and a prophet. I can take that. Right, I can take a Malcolm.
Right.
My question is when you don't have that prophet. Pac was that. Pac was that soldier, and Pac was that messenger. I don't hear that from a lot of these cats. I'm not dissing the younger generation. I'm just saying we talk about platforms. We talk about the opportunity to communicate to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We don't see the advantage being taken by many of those who have these outstanding platforms and saying a message of consciousness and awareness and love and creativity. I see it with some.
do they know?
Okay, so these football players know.
And have they been schooled? So the football players, I definitely give them much less leeway than I do some of these hip hop cats. And some will say, yo, that's me being a hypocrite or
No, I
me
feel
being
you on that.
because yo,
It's different.
The football cats like, yo, you've literally seen what's going on with Kaepernick. There's no ignoring in your profession what the fuck is going on with Cap.
I'm just trying to argue the difference between platform and responsibility, because I think both of these equally have an influential and popular platform. But is the responsibility different? And you're saying, yes, I got a different standard for NFL players than I do for hip hop cats.
Because some of these cats, I mean, I was listening to J. Cole's 1985. Like, I don't know why that song, I was just listening to it like 5 times a day. Right. And like, yo, just listening and breaking down what he was saying. He's talking to a lot of these young cats like they don't know.
Right.
They're 17, 18, 20, 21 years old. Dog, they don't know. And I wonder in that case, where are the OGs to teach him? And that's basically what Cole was talking about in the song, like how, you know, he wants to sit him down, let me teach you the game or whatever, so on and so forth, right? I wonder, do a lot of these young cats, do they not know because, and now they have this platform because they weren't OGs to teach them? Now, let me say this shit.
Yeah.
When I was in Oakland last week, kicking it with one of the Panthers, a younger cat now, he said some shit to me that I'll never forget. He said, yo, what do you think was the difference between Pac, and it's another conscious cat over there, whose name was X, who used to run with M1 and like Dead Press. He was like, yo, what was the difference between Pac and them? And he was like, yo, and matter of fact, we got on this talk because we were talking about Huey, and I was like, yo, how you feel about, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, Huey, you know what I'm saying? Dog, he was like sniffing coke and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, bro, he did some shit that I couldn't respect. Like, bro, like, yo, I'm conflicted about that. And he was like, yo, Huey, before he was Dr. Huey Newton, before he was any of that, he was in the streets. Like Pac, how he's like, even how we see Pac on the West Coast and how y'all may view him on the East Coast is different. Like Pac, dog, he Oakland. You know what I'm saying? He Cali. Before he was Baltimore and New York, all that, like he Cali. And he was like, yo, Pac he reminds us of ourselves. So he said if Pac wasn't out here fighting people or wilding out, which tied people who were in the hood to know like, yo, I can still make it to this level. But Pac, just like me, he said that was also the beauty of Huey. Because Huey, while he was a smart cat and he was a leader of the movement, he was still a street dude. He was the one that made the cats in the street and in the underground of the Panthers still have a place in the movement. So some of them might not have been as conscious in terms of like being able to go to the feeder program with the kids or the sickle cell stuff or, you know what I'm saying, the turkey drives. That wasn't their thing. But when it came to some street shit and making sure that people were protected or getting money for the Panthers, that was their role. He gave everybody a role.
That was the bridge, man.
He was the bridge.
And see, those brothers couldn't be as vocal in certain settings.
That's true. They couldn't be.
So again, I guess going back to this idea of sacrifice and what we're not, one, what we're willing to sacrifice, and two, what that sacrifice looks like, whether popular opinion or people understand why we're sacrificing what we're sacrificing.
I just don't get why we so afraid to make other people uncomfortable.
I don't even know if it's about that. How much of it's about imagery? How much of it's about how it looks? Because we could say, well, F how it looks, because you're going to make me look shitty anyway, so I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Yo, what's up? You listen to the Peaceful Rage podcast featuring me, Matt Murphy, and Dr. Wes Bellamy.
Bruh, that's how I feel right now.
Okay.
Because ask me why I got these parts in my head, why I wear these chains. Excuse me, got some ice in my mouth. Why I wear these chains, why I like wear these shirts and all this other shit. It's because, yo, dog, I have a fucking doctorate. You can't get any higher than that. And you know what they still call me on them damn message boards? Dr. Nigger.
Sure.
So, like, why even worry about what they gonna say? We might as well just do what we want to do.
What they call you and how they impact you.
It's two different things.
It could be. It could be tied together, but it could be two
they
different
still
things.
impact me, dog. We touched on this
Right,
a little
right.
bit, bro. Like last week, my damn car gets towed by some people
All right,
for no reason.
We know them hillbillies is gonna do what they gonna do. But I'm just saying,
For those who
like,
don't know the story, real quick,
Go ahead.
my joint got towed. We were at the federal courthouse. I parked somewhere.
sideways.
So I guess no, like seriously, I parked in the parking lot. I thought it was good, and we have the little city council placard, so like they know when you have the joint, like
No,
you
they
there
was
on
fucking
official
with you, man.
business.
Come on, man.
And then the person puts on Facebook afterwards, and it's Collier's Towing, whoever the chick name was Angela or some joint. She's like, oh, look whose car I towed today. Anybody who knows me know I hate and I despise Wes Bellamy. So dog, when I go and get my car out
And
of
then
the
they said
damn,
something about you being a racist too, or some shit
yeah,
like that.
because I had the shirt.
Right, I saw the I saw that.
So look, Pete, I go get my car. It's a baby in the joint, right? So it's a baby in there. I'm like talking, laughing with the baby. I ain't giving no static. I ain't saying no nothing. Like, yo, okay, dog, let me just come get the car. We good. Like, all right, my joint got told. It's not the end of the world. I'm not even tripping off the $125. Like, I ain't tripping off that. If they say I was wrong, then I was wrong. We got other ways to deal with it.
Right.
I'm thinking that I'm talking to the baby, playing with the baby. The chick is in there taking pictures of me. And then they take a picture of my receipt. They put my signature all in online.
Come on, man.
They put all this joint on there. And then they like, I know he's racist because look at it. He even says it on his shirt. And my shirt, shout out to my guy Jordan B, it has racism with a line through it.
Right.
So obviously she failed the reading class or whatever. But
Can we make that picture for this episode?
we can make that the picture.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? But I see all the comments before I think a lot of other folks saw it. When she initially posted it, that joint had like 200 shares, like 150 comments. Good for him. I'm glad that happened to that piece of shit. Like, good. I wish you would have threw it in the river. Wish you could burn him. All this other wild shit.
Right.
But then when our folks started seeing it,
Right.
they started wilding like, oh, we filing Better Business Bureau complaints. We calling there nonstop. And I wasn't saying like, I wasn't telling anybody
You weren't
to do
trying to
anything.
advocate for it. It was just a response, right?
I didn't even comment on it. I just saw it. It was actually brought to my attention by the police at first. And I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. That's how they carrying it. But those are the things that happen when we decide to be vocal and stand up, right? But the same way that so many of us came to my defense, black and white, in terms of like, yo, nah, hell nah, you can't do that to West. Like, nah, we boycotting Collier. Somebody bought the website, all of that stuff. why aren't we more consistent in terms of how we do that with speaking up and speaking out?
Bro, let me tell you
I
something.
don't need you to do like no, don't
ahead,
look
go
at it
ahead,
twisted.
go ahead.
I do need you to do it for me. Like I appreciate the love and I appreciate people standing up and speaking up for me, but yo, we still like we need more. Like I need more help than just online. We all do.
There you go. And that's some of what I was getting ready to get to was just that, you know, there's that support, there's that, you know, that care, if you would, in that setting online.
Yeah.
What does that look like in other spaces?
Yeah.
And again, we talk about this idea of sacrifice. I can easily sacrifice a couple of seconds and type some shit that I'm angry about. Right. Versus hitting you up, bruh, you good? You know what I mean? Like, you need anything? What's this? It's a different thing. And so, going back to this whole idea of what we're willing to sacrifice and encounter and deal with, I think that, you know what I mean? Like, we each should, this is my takeaway from it, even talking to you and listening to what you're saying, we each should evaluate what we're willing to sacrifice. You know what I mean? What we not willing to sacrifice, because we didn't really get into that question with each other. What are we not willing to sacrifice? You know what I mean? And then move forward based on those things, and whether people get them or understand them, you may or may not have the opportunity to make them understand. But even then, do you have and you heard me talk about this before, a guiding principle, a vision, a direction of what you moving in? You know what I'm saying? Because I went home a while back, man. Yeah. And I was talking to some people about some past stuff and hearing their stories about the shit that they had to endure that created a space for me to do the things that I was able to do.
No doubt.
Was like, damn.
Like, damn, you got to be appreciative of that.
And some of it irritated me because of my own chronological snobbery, thinking like, damn, I wouldn't have went for that shit. But it also was not 1970 something in the middle of the cornfields.
It's easy
you know
for
what I'm
us
saying?
to say now what we wouldn't have done. But I do think by that same token, because we now have this privilege, we got to take it to the next level.
I agree.
That's a great question you asked, though. What are we willing to sacrifice? And I think about that question often. And for me, I wonder if it's anything but death. Or is it death? And I feel like for what God has made me to do, like I have to be willing because of me, what I felt. I mean, I can't speak for nobody else. I'm talking about what I feel like he's intended for me to do. That's not out of the question.
That's real.
Now, I'm not saying I want it to happen.
No.
But
we recognize the reality of what we live in.
Yeah.
And that's real.
I think about the toll that would take on my wife, my children, my family. I mean, my friends, like, you know what I'm saying? All of that. So obviously you have to take precautionary measures so that you know, something like that doesn't happen. But I do know this ain't no play shit that I'm in. Now, I'm not asking for everyone to try to get into this kind of like, to go to the levels that I'm willing to go. But we do all have to collectively be willing to go somewhere.
And that's true. And you know what? And all respect due to, you know what I'm saying, to our queens and our sisters, man, who understand that when you marry a soldier, there's certain understandings and expectations about possibilities that could occur. When you marry a farmer, when you marry a banker, when you marry you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you marry a king, when you marry a prince, like, you know, all these things. And so there's a certain way that we don't want to neglect that our sisters, because of course, you know, we talking to black men, but that our sisters take on supporting and encouraging us as we support and encourage them, like, and those real struggles and issues. And we ain't even gotten to the shit that brothers got to hear at the crib when it comes to what they're going to sacrifice and what they ain't going to sacrifice. You can see me talking about, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Yeah, okay, bro. Okay, I see you. What's wifey say?
That's real. I mean, my wife has made me, dog, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. You right.
So, right.
That's real. Like, and you feel like, you gotta find the balance.
Right. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I don't
That's
know
real.
this,
That's
man.
real too, though.
I
That's
don't know
real.
these brothers' stories, man. Like, respect, man. The dude from the Titans that was like, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna take the
kneel,
fine.
I'm gonna take the L. Do what you gonna do. I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Do that shit, right? And at the same time, that brother's like, I'm gonna do this for this reason. I'm not really mad at bruh. I'm not mad at him. I'm not saying Dak in particular. I'm just saying, like, if the dude says, I'm going to stand for this reason. I'm a fourth generation, you know what I'm saying, military dude. Like, Are you taking that away for these cats?
Nah, you can't.
You see, that's what I'm saying. So I can't sit up here and say the brothers that stand on those sidelines during those games are any more or less woke because they're not kneeling. And at the same time, I'm going to put it on professional sports because y'all got a platform. All right, homie, NBA, you ain't kneeling. MLB, you ain't kneeling. Whatever sport you want to fill in the blank, y'all ain't kneeling. I don't want to hear that shit.
So
if we can play it like that.
So I will say this. You make extremely valid points. So I will say, on the flip side of that, when we do see a brother choose to kneel, support him and don't put him down.
Hell yeah.
Right? So don't say, like I've seen some commentators like, oh, they're still kneeling, they're defeating the purpose.
I'll
Go
never
put
take
that
that
money
away
in
from a
neighborhoods.
brother, man.
Like, yeah, you like to me now that's some dumb shit.
Because that's his right to do that shit.
It's his right to do it. And that's how he wants to use his platform to speak up for the movement. We gotta respect it, right? Don't put him down. You may not agree, but don't put him down. I guess that's what. But I mean, black folks or people in general, we're not a monolith. So everybody's gonna have different opinions. I just hate that I hate the people that, not hate, but I got beef or issues with people who don't do shit, but then talk about others who are doing something to uplift us. Like that shit to me is just, that shit just rubs me the wrong way.
And that's the struggle, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always easier to complain than it is to offer, you know what I'm saying, like realistic and reasonable, resolutions to situations.
No doubt. So, that's enough for tonight. That's real. Let us know what y'all think about this, man. Drop the comments in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Leave your comments. You can really find us literally anywhere. Like, we're on YouTube. The joints be on Facebook. The joints are on iTunes. It's on Podbean. Let us know what you think, man. Hit us up at Peaceful Rage Podcast at gmail.com. Hit us up on social media at Peaceful Rage Podcast. Hit up Murph. Murph, what's your personal IG?
Just Matthew 77 Murphy.
Matthew 77 Murphy.
Yeah, keeping it simple.
Hit me up at King. No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead. You got three numbers in your name.
Hit me at Dr. West Bellamy, Dr. West Bellamy. So, this is a good episode, bro.
Word up, man.
Appreciate you. Shout out to the ear. We'll catch y'all next time. Until then, Peaceful Rage Podcast.
Much love.
So, as always, man, we want to thank the listeners. Appreciate y'all rocking with us.
Absolutely, man.
Shout out to our sponsors.
LifeView Marketing, Ty Cooper.
Shout out to our producer, The Ear.
The Ear.
Yo, what up, man? At Damani for prayers, hit him up. And also, if you want to be able to sponsor with us or, you want to come through on the show, look out for us. Hit us up on Gmail at peacefulragepodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on social media at Peaceful Rage Podcast on all social media websites. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.